The UConn women's basketball team hasn't lost in the American Conference in 6 seasons. They are 122-0. They have not lost in 6 years. There has got to be a better way. And so UConn is now saying, we have lost all of our fans. We don't matter anymore locally. Nobody cares about any of our games. We've got to go back to the Big East, even if we don't play football in the conference. The Big East doesn't have football. And this is an act of desperation for UConn. The Big East is actually fine without UConn. The Big East has been fine. They've had 2 national champions, both Villanova, but their TV contract's good for basketball, and they're a healthy basketball league. And they brought in Creighton, and they brought in some other basketball-centric schools, Xavier, and the Big East is a strong conference built around basketball and other non-revenue sports, and they don't need football. And so UConn has made a fascinating decision, saying we would rather be relevant in basketball and throw football out the window, which everything has almost always been about. If you have a football program, especially if it's Division I, go football, football, football. It's great. UConn's the biggest winner here. UConn's fans are the biggest winner because the Big East was going to be fine without UConn. The Big East is better with UConn. The Big East is better when you have the UConn brand coming in and being able to play Georgetown and Villanova and Providence and St. John's and Seton Hall and all these old Big East schools. UConn in the Big East tournament is cool. But UConn men's basketball isn't what it used to be. It doesn't have Jim Calhoun around anymore. They're not one of the national championship-driven programs these days. Maybe they'll get there being in a better basketball conference, but UConn's the big winner by the Big East allowing them to come back because they were dead in the water. They meant nothing. They were totally irrelevant. The basketball program had cratered. Nobody went to football games. And the women's basketball program, there was not even a challenge inside the conference. They didn't even lose a game in 6 years. So the UConn fans are the biggest winners because now finally you get a reason to care again. I mean, my God, they tried to sell Huskies fans on the civil conflict with UCF. Imagine. It's like we play for axes and milk jugs and barrels and pigs and stuff in the Big Ten because that's what was on the line 150 years ago. Nobody made up trophies with the names capitalized like 3 years ago and tried to pass it off as important because they played for pigs 150 years ago. And that means it's way cooler. Way cooler. You don't ever go into a restaurant and then being like, guess what? We built this in 2016. Awesome, right? Oh, that's a reason to go. No, they go, yeah, this was a restaurant since like 1920. You're like, oh, this place must be awesome. Been around since 1920. No one ever goes, yeah, we built it. It's been around since 1998. We're really old. 2004, we built this place. It was amazing. Yeah, awesome. UConn back to the Big East, good for everybody, and it means that their football program has no home. Americans not going to keep them around if they're going to leave the conference for everything else. Big East doesn't have football, so they might end up in the MAC, maybe the Sun Belt. So that means look for UConn versus Bowling Green on a Tuesday on ESPN2 near you, or perhaps a UConn Louisiana Tech trophy, the civil conflict with Louisiana Tech.